can't hear me, I'll shout more. So this is my latest work, Cella, who I wrote about her in this beautiful publication, so thank you for including me. I'm thinking of her as a being, an architecture, a vision. She's a seed vault, an archive, and a storage unit for the future. She is a feminist utopian structure which puts care and breathing and openness at the center in a time that's super precarious to be living on Earth. So considering like what a draft meant for me is like, I think it's so embedded in my practice. I think about sort of like cycling through ideas and working through certain questions. Like each work is kind of a question that leads to another question. So the works themselves end up feeling more like prototypes, or they're contained as artworks but offer a proposition for the future. I see a sort of parallel between the work making and in this case sort of shelter making with larger time or environmental cycles, like tides rising or seasons changing, that causes humans to have to move or adapt. So I'll talk just through a few things that kind of got me to this structure and where I'm at now, which is completely ongoing. Yeah, we'll keep going. So maybe some of you know I was making these really simple nests out in the park and inviting other people to participate. But I sort of think about this as like a thought experiment. They're like aleatory architectures, which I learned is like random. Alea means gambling or dice, so this sort of construction that comes from random placements of one thing that end up interlocking and forming a wall or forming a structure. So I'm thinking about like structures that are really quick to make, structures that can move or are nomadic. Yeah, I think I didn't really know what I was doing at the time, and then it's definitely leading me, again, these sort of questions that lead me somewhere. You got next slide. So you can kind of see this. This is the brief that I gave to a renderer. I was obviously in the forest a lot, and I was looking at pine cones, thinking about how a closed pine cone like holds its seeds, and it's really protective when it's wet, and when it's dry, it opens up and releases. So it has this embedded knowledge, and I was really intrigued by that kind of intuition in an architecture, in a form. And I was thinking also about, you can't really see it, but like greenhouses and their interaction with sun and heat, and when does it get too hot inside and it needs to open up. So that was sort of the initial jumping off point. So you can go to the next slide. This is what he came back with, which was really helpful as I was conceiving of how to even go about making a large structure that I never had done before. Yeah, thinking about this porousness, the open and the closed states. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. More iterations in the studio, so there's just like lots of different versions of Cella. So ceramics and wood and drawings, and this is a metal mock-up. So again, this kind of idea of like bringing my design self into the art. Yeah, next slide. So I think I've also been thinking about what it meant to name her, and that she like as an artwork, it's not like an object. There's this ongoingness. She becomes a body that's like we all change and become soft or old or sick, or I don't know. I think I'm interested in work that's like active somehow. So I'm excited right now. The way that you activate her as you pull, but I'm kind of intrigued in the next iterations to have her interact more with sun or water and kind of be more autonomous. So we'll keep going with that. But yeah, I'm like, what does it mean to name a shelter, or name where we live, and does that maybe we would pay more attention or care to the places where we live if we see them as like a being. So this is inside, and just a bit of an indication of like my material exploration. I'm thinking about using algae bioplastics and embedding organic materials in there. A lot of this stuff, the materials just came from around my studio and previous artwork, so it's kind of interesting that they had another life. Yeah, I'm not really precious about the previous works in a way. Bits of plastic deli bags and things I find by the river. Thinking about like the entanglement that we're in right now. There's no, kind of hard to like have a pure, sorted material. Yeah, and thinking about materials that have different durations of decay. So time scale is really interesting to me. Yeah, and I should say also that this is like a collective project, that a lot of other people helped me do the sewing. So I'm also interested in the work being generous or open in that way too. That it's like, maybe there's a vision in architecture, but that other people could bring materials or sew with me. Elena was a huge part of helping me make this. Yeah, it's a group effort. And I think about how shelters are made, how nomadic cultures like need, it takes a village. Okay, so. Oh yeah, more materials. There's some like teeth in there. This is kind of gross. And chewing gum, and like lots of little things, and I think it will continue to evolve and shed. So yeah, next one. And one of the last points I'll make is that it's also modular. So I did some design work for IKEA, and my background, I'm thinking about a structure that could come apart, could be portable. So it's a little awkward still, but each of the 32 legs come off, and I can do it all myself, or I could teach someone how to do it. So interested in making something that can collapse, and I don't know, I think maybe there's a bit of a doomsday element in that. Gotta get out of here, but really excited to like take this outside and have different materials be embedded and just see how it shapeshifts. So you can do the last slide. This is a really cute gift that like made the opening like so great for me. I don't know who this girl is, so if anyone knows who she is. But the kids really loved the work, and it was such a thrilling and unexpected. I guess I should have expected it. There's like lots to play with. But yeah, I think I'll just read a little piece from the thing, and then I'll hand it over to Nick. When do we need to be open? This is what I wrote. Sorry, I didn't say that. When do we need to be open? When do we need to be closed? As Siddhartha Mukherjee eloquently illustrates for the cell, the most basic unit of life, openness is essential but also makes us vulnerable. We cannot remain closed off or we will die, yet there is a danger in opening up. Nevertheless, the sensation and reaction of Cella seems to provide an intuitive protection for an internal baby or thing that it loves. The vent as a form of love. Thank you.